Good morning, my little holiday family. How are you guys today? This is Granny Patty, and we're getting ready to start on a new lesson, lesson number 6, all about Eastern Canada. Introduction. For our last lesson on Canada, we are going to travel further east, just across the river from Canada's capital city, Ottawa, Ontario. We will find Quebec and the Maritime Provinces. The culture of Eastern Canada is unique from the West in many ways. Today we will explore some of these differences, including Eastern provinces with unique language, accents, and dialects. We will discover food that is unique to or originated in the East, and a culture that is fascinating and beautiful. Come on with me to Quebec and beyond. Activity break. Eastern Canada is home to both the largest and smallest provinces. Quebec is more than 270 times larger than Prince Edward Island. Look up pictures of both Quebec City, or Montreal, and Charlottetown, PEI. Compare the pictures. Do you think you would rather live in one of the cities in Quebec or on PEI? And why? Cool. Featured landmarks. Green Gables is a house in Cavendish, Prince Edward Island. Situated amongst the potato farms and red cliffs of the island, this iconic house stands as a reminder of a simpler past. Thousands of visitors come here each year to see the inspiration for what it is, one of Canada's most celebrated pieces of literature. Lucy Maud Montgomery was born and raised on Prince Edward Island and was inspired by the house and area to write her beloved classic, Anne of Green Gables. After having her manuscript turned down by every publisher she sent it to, she tried again 2 years later and succeeded in getting a publishing deal. 3 years after she completed this first novel, it was finally published in 1908. The story about a fiery, red-headed orphan girl that was sent to Green Gables by mistake captured the heart and imagination of the Canadian public. It was an instant success and sold 19,000 copies the first 5 months it was in print. L.M. Montgomery went on to write many more novels, 7 of which feature Anne. Anne of Green Gables has been translated into multiple languages and is loved everywhere it is read. This has created an amazing tourist opportunity for the province of Prince Edward Island, and there are many opportunities to experience the places that inspired the story that is loved around the world. Now we're going to talk about the land and animals in Eastern Canada. Being the largest province in Canada, Quebec has many different landforms to discover. Along the St. Lawrence Seaway and River, the original settlers in this area found fertile plains to grow their crops. The Appalachian Mountains and the Laurentian Mountains both rise out of the landscape in Quebec, while the Canadian Shield covers the largest majority of the province. This rocky landscape is covered with beautiful forests in the southern and central parts of the province, fading to barren tundra in the north. Atlantic Canada is also a beautiful place. Its delightful coastlines are dotted with the iconic lighthouses erected at strategic points, preventing ships from colliding with the rocky cliffs along the coast. These provinces are full of beautiful lush forests, windswept hills, and fertile farmland. The Bay of Fundy, off the coast of Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, has the highest tides in the world. They can reach as high as 50 feet during high tide. Hopewell Rocks in New Brunswick is a popular tourist destination where you can see and experience this remarkable tide. Newfoundland is a rocky island that has a culture and landscape distinct from anywhere else in Canada. It is known for its colorful houses along the waterfront of St. John's, which is the capital, and for the ability to view massive icebergs from this rocky island. Eastern Canada is home to many species of birds, but 2 are specifically important to Canada: puffins are seabirds that make their home in Atlantic Canada. These adorable creatures love to dive and catch small fish. When they dive, they are known to catch as many as they can, and they have been known to come up out of the water with 10 or more fish per dive. But these birds are not great at flying and are known to come in for crash landings in the sea or on the ground. There is a high concentration of these birds that breed on small islands of the coast, off the coast of Newfoundland. Another popular Canadian bird is the common loon, found throughout Canada. Much like the beaver, the loon has become a Canadian symbol. These swimming birds nest inland on lakes and rivers and spend the winter at the sea. The female loon lays 1 to 2 eggs that are incubated for 26 to 29 days. It's almost a month. And it is common to see the baby loons hitching a ride on their mother's back. They are well known for their strange cries, and if you don't know what you are hearing, it can be somewhat disconcerting. They have 4 types of sounds: tremolo, yodel, wail, and hoot. Maybe you should ask Mom what that sounds like. She could probably recreate it. These birds mainly eat fish, but will also feed on frogs, snails, and insects, among other things. They can dive down 200 feet or more to catch their next meal. If you've ever seen a dollar CAD coin, you will see a loon on one side of it with the Queen's likeness on the other. Canadians call this denomination of money the loonie. Well, that makes sense. So what do they eat in Eastern Canada? Eastern Canada has delicious food to offer. Quebec is famous as the birthplace of a distinctly Canadian dish of fries topped with cheese curds and smothered with gravy known as a poutine. Quebec is also home to Montreal smoked meat. Brined, smoked, and steamed to perfection, this method of cooking beef brisket is not to be missed. Both of these dishes are must-haves when visiting Quebec. Quebec is also where the vast majority of the world's maple syrup comes from. Maple trees are tapped, a spout entered into the tree so liquid can flow out, in early spring to collect the running sap, then boiled down to make this deliciously sticky amber syrup. Depending on the variety of maple tree and the sugar content of the sap, it can take anywhere from 20 to 40 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of syrup. Further east, the maritime provinces are well known for their seafood, particularly their lobster. Yum! It is often served with a side of mussels or other seafood. Oysters, clams, and countless species of fish find their way into the menu in Atlantic Canada. Like most places in the world, the surroundings often dictate what the local population eats. And here in the East, the bounty of the Atlantic sets the tone and backdrop for a seafood feast you won't soon forget. History and culture. This area of Canada has 3 very distinct cultures and dialects. Quebec is the heart of the French-Canadian culture, and the people have a specific French accent. New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Prince Edward Island share many aspects of culture, though they have each their own individuality, and they speak with a unique accents true to Eastern Canada. Newfoundland is often joked as almost being a different country with their defined culture. Although the people of Newfoundland also speak English, they have a thick accents and expressions that are only found in Newfoundland, almost like their own language that very few other Canadians can understand. The French were the first people to colonize what we know as Canada today. For many years, there was conflict between the French and the British over the colonies set up in what is now Canada. While most of the original colonies came under British rule and assimilated to English culture, Quebec was the exception. To this day, it has maintained its distinctly French culture, with French as the official language in Quebec. When Canada was formed in 1867, there were 4 provinces that made up the beginnings of this beautiful nation: Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia. PEI, joined in 1871, and the other provinces and territories joined along the way. Newfoundland was the last province to join the Confederation in 1949, maybe contributing to such a different culture than the rest of the country. Nova Scotia and New Brunswick are known for having a rich multicultural heritage. Nova Scotia boasts a strong Scottish, Irish, English flair, complete with fiddling and kilts. The Antigonish Festival, held every year, is a traditional Scottish festival that has been going on since 1863. New Brunswick is the only official bilingual province in Canada, with the southern part of the province being predominantly English-speaking, and the northern part home to the descendants of the original Acadian people that settled the land and were deported when the English took control of the colony. Many of these people moved to the southern United States and stayed there. The Cajun culture in the United States is the result of that deportation. Some of these people chose to come back to New Brunswick when the government allowed it, and they have diligently maintained their French-Canadian culture. All right, my dears, there's another hands-on activity. PEI stands for Prince Edward Island, is known for its potatoes. Make a picture book featuring all the different ways you can eat a potato. Learn how to make homemade fries or chips and make them for dinner along with fish sticks. Oh yeah, Mommy can help you with that. Well, my darlings, it is time for your mommy to take over. It's time to get your notebooks out, if you don't have them out already. You know Granny Patty loves you. Be nice to each other. Thank, love, and kiss your parents. And take care of yourselves. Just for now, I'm saying bye.